Hey, I'm Danny Hoyt, and we are here today at the Erupt headquarters in Hollywood, California. Over the last couple weeks, I've been discussing mental health, addiction, and the opioid epidemic that's facing our world today. For my first conversation, I wanted to talk about what addiction and recovery look like in 2021. So I was joined by Ted Costello, who's a chief strategy officer for a major healthcare company, and also by Danny Deaton, a recovering addict who's now a certified addiction recovery specialist.
The truth is, we are gasping for air on the other side of this pandemic, but the mental health pandemic that is coming is a tsunami the size of which we can't even reckon with. I am terrified for the future. And if you put yourself in the shoes of an 11-year-old who doesn't have a super happy home life, one day in March of 2020, everything that they cared about and counted on, whether that was lacrosse practice, a safe play at school, or a group of friends, was taken away from them.
The very opposite of addiction is connection. And when people lose connection, like he mentioned, with their sports activities, their friends, anything that gets them connected to something, that is a recipe for disaster.
For my next conversation, I wanted to talk about addiction from a different angle. I wanted to know how to help someone that you love that may need treatment. And as an addict, how to find the right treatment for you. So we brought in Jessica Gonzalez. She's a social media influencer mainly on Instagram, where she calls herself a canna mom. And her platform is that cannabis has saved her life from drug and alcohol abuse. On the other side of the conversation was Doc Frank, who's a TikTok influencer, as well as a YouTube pioneer. The conversation was interesting as both of these people use their platform to help create change.
I view addiction as an obsession. You become so obsessed with something. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna get this substance, no matter what. I'm gonna find the money, I'm gonna find the ride, I'm gonna find the way. And I think that is actually a trait that most people don't have. And that's what I think makes people like Jessica and myself so successful in our media endeavors and how we wound up on a platform like this. It's that kind of addictive drive to do something.
I really wish our country would take the drug abuse much more seriously. I wish they would take alternatives more seriously. I wish they would take mindfulness more seriously and therapy more seriously. I just really hope those that are watching it, there are so many options out there. There are so many supportive ways that people can, get through really hard times. And no matter what you're going through, whether it's, drug or alcohol abuse or whatever, just know that there's resources and please use them.
For my final conversation in the series, I wanted to talk about who is ultimately responsible for the opioid epidemic. We brought in Dominic Esposito. He's the creator and founder of the Opioid Spoon Project. He uses his art to raise awareness, as this subject is deeply personal to him and his family. And on the other side was Stephen Hill, a recovering addict who's now a motivational speaker. Not only that, he went to law school, passed the New York bar exam, and now hopes to change policy from the very top.
It's hard enough to deal with the substance use alone. Then you try and get into life, and people just keep refusing you and knocking you down. And that's a big piece to me that really does need to be changed, especially for your non-violent offender who's really not a risk to the community. They're more a risk to themselves.
And what we really need is empathy across not just people within the opioid community, because I think we all kind of speak to each other, we speak the same language, but people outside of our community. And I think that's really going to be the game changer for how we solve the drug crisis in this country, or at least try to save some lives at the very least.
Again, my name is Danny Hoyt. If you enjoyed these conversations, you can download Erupt on the App Store and watch the full conversation. Not only that, you can request to be a speaker, and maybe you and I could be chatting on this app very soon. After all, at Erupt, the floor is yours.